Hello again, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of season 2 of Tweet Street and my little journey into lizard canaries. And this year we'll be doing a couple of pairs of 5 canaries. So it's a little bit different for me. In this episode, I'm going to be chatting about, I love a good clean, don't we all? It's the major clean of the year. For most of the cages get stripped down. New kids on the block, got a couple of new birds. We'll have a little look at them. And Grantham Cage Bird Society, popped over to see Rob Brown to give a talk on Softbills and a little bit of a chat about that. Right, so I need a good clear out of the bird cages once a year just before breeding. Here are the birds in their cages as were, so they had to come out, which they did. I then put them into some smaller old show cages. For the day. It was actually a day and a half it took, quite a bit. So I'd already done these guys. You can see I've got a few spare cages, so they're already done. It was just this bank of cages. Luckily they all come off as double breeders, so one at a time out they come. I take them outside into my driveway. Got a nice big double driveway, quite fortunate. I could strip the cages right down to flat pack as they came, but there's no real need to do that. So I just get my jet washer, and you'll see me use a jet washer in previous episodes, and I give them a real good jet wash. Now it's cold water, obviously. It gets in all the little nooks and crannies of the cages and cleans it out really well. And if you've ever put your hand, like a donut would, on the end of the jet washer, you'll know it's bloody painful. So it really does give a proper good jet of water and a good clean. Now I've last year, for those who watched, I smeared Vaseline all the way around the backs of the cages, the sides, tops and bottoms, anywhere where might think of making a home. Now even though I jet wash, it doesn't get rid of all of that. It would if I used boiling water, but I don't, just use the cold. So once they're clean, I dry them off, I put them back in, as you'll see in a moment. But once they're out, I can check the walls behind. Now there was some evidence of old areas of where there was mite, which I had a couple of years back. And you'll see that they like the corners. These were, I think, mite that were from before, they just weren't cleaned out. And because I've put... and you can see like these screw heads where they would have normally looked, they've tried to take up in past residents, but I smear Vaseline over all the nooks and crannies, all the joins in the wood, around all the screws going in the wall and the seams in the corners of the bird room. Okay, and that is all got a just a thin smearing of Vaseline, just so they can't walk over it, they get stuck. So once that's all clean, and as you can see, it was a bit messy in some of those photos. Obviously, you know, the birds are throwing seed around and water drips out and it gets messy. So you give it a good clean. And I was waiting for this. I ordered this off of Tinternet, and it come all the way over from the Far East. Wasn't quite what size I was expecting. It's about 2 meters long. That's not too bad. I thought it was going to be 3 meters long. I thought it was going to be 600 mil wide. It was 300 mil wide. My Mandarin is really rusty, so I'll probably, it's just me ordering the wrong stuff. But I've got 2 little rolls of it. Now, I'll take my hat off to whoever manufactured it to get a product that thin with backing paper and the tack on the back of it. It was thinner than our normal paper that we write on. With everything. So you peel off the back carefully. It's got like a foil coloured back with the print on the front, and it just sticks over the wood. I've just got wood on there. It was a little tiny bit tacky from the previous previous years. I've had it on about 3 years, 2 or 3 years, and I put it on because it gives a waterproof base for the front of the cage. So when any water comes out the front, it just sits on there. Any muck gets on there, I can simply wipe it off. So this is not a long-term thing. It will last. I don't know how long this will last. Like I say, it was as thin as you like. The last one I brought was quite a thick one, and it just got a bit of wear and tear. So you can see it stuck down. It's a little bit, does need to go all the way back to the wall because that's the back of the cages. I put a little bit of the earth, diatomaceous earth, at the back there, but it's all got Vaseline as well, rubbed in the back crannies, cooked, with the nooks and crannies. So this got a little bit more of this area because that's where I put my water tub. So any spillages, you could just mop them up. So outside, while I was doing that, I'll say everything was clean. Now, what I do like to do is the bottoms and the dividers, I'll give them a jet wash, but also boiling water all over them. That will kill anything nasty on there. And that's all. I don't put boiling water over the rest of the cages. I just normally do these cages, the bottoms, where they're pooped on a lot. It makes it a lot easier. So then we start putting everything back in. This is the joy of these type of plastic cages. Obviously, if you've got your wood cages, you've got to approach things differently. But I really wanted to try to eliminate mites from the bird room itself, not just the cages. But it's in stages, isn't it? You need to keep mites. Firstly, you need to keep them off your birds. End of. That's it. You've got to keep your birds free. I use S76, a product in the water, once a week, and that seems to do the trick for that. Then I don't want them in the cages. If they're in the cages, they can get in the nest pans, etc. So I've got to keep them out of there. So I'll put that smearing around these cages on the back so they can't get into the cages. And then in the bird room itself, I'll put around all the apertures to make sure that they don't get in. It seemed to work well last year. To make sure it's not a one-off, I'll see how we get on this year. That's all we can really do, isn't it? So I've took everything out. As you can see, these are the feeders that they got a good old clean. Luckily, the weather is it's English weather. It's wet, it's cold still. When the sun comes out, sometimes you feel that little bit of warmth getting through, and it's only another 4 or 5 weeks before we'll be thinking of getting the nest pans in and getting them together. So it's not not too long now. So these are on the radiator drying out because they need to be bone dry before I put seed back into the food containers so they don't go off. And then you need obviously put the perches back. There we go. Let's just whip that forward a little bit. Nobody likes cleaning, but once you've done it, it does feel like a bloody good job done. And there we go. When it's done, you see all the perches in already. Now what I've done, once the perches go in, and before I put any of the bedding down at the bottom, I give a spray of disinfectant over it all, which I use. Let that settle. So then all the bird feeders, the blue parts of bird feeders, slot into these the white bits with the perches on, and that's where the seed goes through at that little hole. And there you can see, now they're all done. The birds have gone back in, so they're happy. They weren't overly amused about putting in a small cage for a day just overnight. But it needs to be done. It's only the once a year I have this deep clean, and then I can get my breeding records out ready. I've got my cards out ready to fill out, which I've filled out a few out ready. And then we've got a close-up of the birds now, and they're looking really nice. They're singing away. This was look, Mr. Higgins singing away. He got a different song to some of the others. He's got a bit of a warble going on, bless him. So I thought we'd go through. He's quite happy with his new little cage. I've moved them about a little bit. I like to put my best birds, I think of my best birds, on the top, and I work like a tiered fashion down. That's Mrs. Higgins. That's the bird I got for Ray Anthony, Mariah Carey bird. She's looking really good for a 2022 bird. Then we've got one pair of the fife, that's the cock bird, singing like the clappers. The hen bird, she's looking really good. The second hen bird, she's looking very good as well. I had a bit of a flutter with her a few months ago, but she seems fine. Going to miss the cock bird, her other half. That's Mariah's daughter, which was hatched, bred from last year. That's my best gold bird. That's going to be going Mr. Higgins. I'll be popping down to see her. At the bottom we've got a pair here that come from myself and Bob Snedden. See how they get on. We've had them a little while. Got some empty cages, as you see. There's another hen that's going to go over. Ray's bird's going to go over, hopefully 3 hens. And then there's another pair at the bottom from birds from myself, and I think that was one of Ray's old cockbirds down the bottom there as well. This was Mariah's daughter. That she's a bit scruffy. She won't bathe. She's never has done. So she's going to get sprayed into that corner there. Poor bless her little heart. But she gets all messy. Little quail. I've got a little video of the quail later. I've got one of the spare cockbirds in there. This is another pair, my last pair. I did get rid of 1 pair of lizards. I've now got 9 pairs of lizards. I had 10 last week. And the reason for that is because I swapped them for another pair. That's another spare cockbird. Now these are the 2 new birds. I've got another pair of weavers, or another couple of weavers. We think they're both hens. We'll find out. And in here are my other pair that I've had for, well, I've had them 3 or 4 years now. So I'll just keep them split for now, just sort of temporary quarantine for what I like to do with all my birds for about a week or so. And then we'll put them all together, see how they get on. They're not going outside at the minute. Got something going on with DEFRA around the counties around where I am, but not in the county I'm in at the moment, I believe. But I don't want to put them out yet anyway, because the weather's shite. So you've got the little quail. She's running around. She started laying eggs. I've given her some of the extra vitamins and stuff that the other birds are having, and it's got her into laying eggs. They get boiled and the dogs eat them. They love them. So the new birdies, the new kids on the block, swapped them for a pair of weavers. Thanks to Chris Swain helping out, put my name forward. This will be, I'm hoping, really helpful. The other pair haven't bred as a pair, but I think introducing more, because in the wild these would go around in flocks. I think that will really help. We'll see how that goes this year. So that's the new kids on the block. So now I'm just giving a little bit of, you see me here just making some soft food up for some of the birds, just getting a bit more condition. We've got another, like I say, about 4 weeks before we're thinking of getting them ready for, nesting. Another couple of weeks I should start making the pans up. I'll show you how I make my pans up. I used baskets for mine, which I find I used to use the plastic, they were really nice, but I'm clumsy. I haven't got a lot of room, and I was knocking these, the ones that go on the outside of the cage. They were great, but I was knocking them. So I'm using baskets that go on the inside. I do need to try and get myself some of the margarine, the round, not margarine tubs, I think they're the yogurt tubs, because what I want to do this year is take them out, put them in there with the chicks in at the bottom, and put the new ones in for the next brood. That's the cunning plan. We'll have to see what goes on. So also I went over, I don't normally have evenings off of work. Fortunately I did, so I popped over to see the guys at Grantham Cage Bird Society, which I'm a member. I was just not able to get to the meetings, and Rob Brown was there, which I've been mentioning for the last few weeks, to go and have a look with his Softbills. Oh my life, fantastic birds, lovely birds to see. He gave a good talk, really interesting. What I took away from it, the birds would be really interesting. If at the minute I've got 30 cages and I've got a lot of birds in the cage. I've got some empty cages, but I've got a lot of birds. It takes up a fair bit of time. Now, in years to come, I'm not going to be able to have that time to devote to all the birds. I know some others struggle with the amount of feather and the dust and stuff like that off of the birds, and they get a bit of asthma and it causes them some grief. But with the Softbills, you tend to have just the one pair in an aviary or a fly, and I just got a thought that this could be really nice in the future for me, for looking at some of the birds. Some of the birds he had I really liked. His bearded reedlings were stunning. His wheat ear was just top draw. He'd put them in some fantastic show cages. They look superb in there. The way they decorate and adorn the cages for the birds, for the Softbills, is second to none. And if any of you guys out there are struggling with the amount of birds you've got, I would say have a little look at something like the Softbills, where one pair, two pairs, but you can concentrate on those and make it really nice for them. It could be the way to go. You know, you might have the time to do a couple of pair of birds. You might be struggling to do 10, 20 pairs. So it is something worth thinking. It's just not just, you know, keeps the hobby, keeps the interest going, and that's Softbills. And that was a talk by Rob Brown. Now, in a few weeks' time, let's grab me a bit of paper. They have got, and you've got to go and see this fella, Ian Newton. Ian Newton. He's going to do a talk on bird migration, and it's on March the 13th. I was hoping to go. I'm not sure if I can. I wanted to take somebody with me that knows Ian. I've got one of Ian's books on sparrowhawks, and it is the most detailed, most excellent book on sparrowhawks. He's got loads of books he's done over the years, but he's given a talk on bird migration. Get yourself over to Grantham CBS. You've got the details on the screen. And go and have a little listen to Ian on the 13th of March. It's a Thursday. It'll be an absolute cracker. I'm really going to try and get over there. I would love to see him. The talk would be, I mean, it's like getting an A-lister in the avian world. So that is well worth going. And I'm going to do a little bit of a thing on for the Grantham guys in probably the next episode onwards, so you can see all the different things we've got on each and every month coming up. You don't have to be a member to go to these dues, and but it's only like, I think it's only like a £5 a year anyway. So I mean, it's, you know, give me a little bit of your money and keep the clubs going, and you'll learn loads. So, and we'll see how that goes very soon. Well, thank you everybody for watching another episode of Tweet Street and sharing your time with me. So if you'd like to comment, please do so. If you've liked what you've seen, please click a like so I get an idea of where we are. If you'd like to share what you've seen with others, please do so. You know, spreading the love of the hobby, that's brilliant. If you could subscribe, you'll get to know when future content's coming out. And if you'd like to take it further and buy me a coffee, basically that's offering a small donation towards the running cost of the channel, you'd be very welcome. So thank you all, everybody. Hope you're well, hope your birds are well, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.